All right, got another full court press. Got my boy Christian. Say what's up to the people.
How we doing, everybody?
All right, Scott's here again. Um, we're here, man. It's the NBA Finals. It's Thursday morning. We got a couple hours till tip off. Uh, Celtics somehow get by a gauntlet of the East. Kind of. We'll get through that, but like, which on paper at least.
Yeah.
They were on the verge of collapsing, dude. Game 6, game 7. You're supposed to close it out. They finally get it done 7 by, even after trying to give that away, but they find themselves in the finals here. Then you got the Golden State Warriors on the other side who took out just Jokic in the, as you would say about, who's Luka in the tradables and
Luka and the tradables.
and then Jokic in the tradables. And
For real.
And then a Memphis team without Jaw. So we have two teams that kind of got here. It's what it kind of takes at this level is you got to get some luck. You got to get some, outside help a lot of times. But we're here, and I think it's a really interesting series. We got two contrasting styles, but teams that were number 1, number 2 in defense. Initially, like, how do you feel about the matchup? Is this what you expected coming out?
Injuries have been a bummer all season long, regular season. COVID's been a pain in the ass. Obviously, Paul George affected the Clippers in their play-in seeding. It's just, injuries and COVID have really just taken a toll on the season as a whole. But I'm gonna be honest with you, with those two major things, I don't know if I could be happier. I mean, if my Lakers were involved, I'd be happier. But like outside my Lakers, like honestly, I'll take this. The season had a lot of ups and downs, but like these are two teams that deserve to be here. Boston put in the requisite effort in the regular season to get better um, home court seating for the playoffs when you saw other teams maybe not prioritizing like the Milwaukee Bucks, where it could have really benefited them being down their second star. So, I mean, Boston put their hard hats on and, went to work, and Golden State came out roaring at the beginning of the year and then, had a couple setbacks, had some injuries, but here they are getting Clay back into the fold, and you got the evolution of Jordan Poole, and Draymond's back from his injury, which looked scary because I think it was like a leg injury, and then it got reported it was a back injury. And I remember coming on here like, yo, is Draymond going to be good? And, so honestly, I'm incredibly pleased with the two teams we have left.
I think it's a great point, man. And the theme of it's almost a theme that we get reminded of a lot because coming in the preseason, right, the picks were Brooklyn, the picks were the Lakers, teams with big names that kind of got constructed real quick. But what we see, but what we see with these two teams is continuity. Right. We have seen a Boston team who for a couple years now, even though, the youth of Tatum and Brown, people have been clamoring, hey, you guys can't win with them. You got to separate them. You got to separate them. And Boston instead still, they're like, no, we believe in these guys. We believe in what we're building here. We're going to ride it through. They're still young. They're still getting more experience. They're learning. And then on the Golden State side, you had a team that was in 4 finals in 5 years or something like that, whatever it was. They missed the playoffs twice, due to Clay being out for how long, Steph missed time, Draymond missed time. They lose Durant. All their requisite pieces. They're rebuilding through the draft with like guys like Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, Jordan Poole comes out of nowhere for them, but the core group and the Curry, Draymond, Clay, they have continuity. They know what it takes. They've been here, and we see two teams that have stuck through pains and have gained many scars on the way, but they're here. They finally get the fruit of their labor, and we're going to go down to a 7-game series to see who comes out on top.
Absolutely. And not to be cheesy, for the people at home, but like, man, it's kind of, if you're going to stay, are you looking into a little bit of a mirror, like their Boston's 3 stars are all lottery picks. You know what I'm saying? Well, not all lottery picks, but they're all homegrown players that was drafted by Boston, on the rise. You look at Golden State, their main core, they're all drafted. You got a first-year head coach in Ime Udoka. We know what Steve Kerr did as a first-year head coach. He warmed up, the seat was warmed up from Mark Jackson, came in and flipped it. Brad Stevens has he developed these kids and Tatum, Brown, and Smart, And there was time for a seat change, and here comes Ime Udoka, who's this team, this three for Boston, they've never functioned this well, even under a Brad Stevens. So there's a lot of parallels if you look at how they've been built, constructed, the continuity that you alluded to. Like, it's kind of crazy.
It is. Going into the series, right? And we're just talking basketball at this point. I feel like the Celtics are the better team on paper. I think since the beginning of the year, January 1st, really, you look at the stats defensively, they were one of the all-time teams defensively. The length, the switchability, size, depth with the trades they've made to acquire guys like Derek White, get rid of a Josh Richards, get rid of a Dennis Schroeder, and really solidify the locker room and an identity for this team. They have been the best team in the NBA. They've been blowing people out. The record shows for it. I think it was them and Phoenix with like the best records, since that point. And Phoenix won 64 games. So they were on par with anybody. Coming into the playoffs, they face the Kevin Durant Warriors, and we see them shut them down. The Giannis one's interesting because obviously we know about the Middleton injury, but it was still a grueling series, and Giannis is still no easy out. It took him 7, but I think when they won that, I think that's when I really bought into them. I was like, okay, they were able to take Giannis on, and granted, Middleton was out, but still, I think that was one heck of an achievement. So their path to get here, even Miami was the number 1 seed. Say what you want. There's going to be years, where the number 1 seed isn't the best team. Look at like the Tennessee Titans last year, right? There you have the number 1 seed, but everyone's like, is this really the number 1 seed in the AFC with Mahomes and all these guys? But sometimes it happens.
Well, they would have looked a lot better, Sky, had Mike Vrabel not have butchered that. The Bengals, real quick on a side note, Bengals had no business making it into the Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel, I don't believe he should have been fired, but he lost that game for them in Tennessee. That was a terrible coaching performance by Mike Vrabel. But I'm gonna let you continue.
Well, like I said, it takes some luck to get to the title game usually.
Absolutely.
It's this continuing what I was saying though, like this weird thing with Boston and their path, right? I see, and I feel like they have more pedigree. Is weird saying that as far as because you're talking about previous champions, multiple time MVPs on the other side, but I'm just talking for this season. Boston to me has more pedigree as a team, and the wins they've got 7 road wins. They've been battle tested. On the other side, we said the Warriors haven't really played anybody, but at the same time, I'm looking at it and public betting right now. 82% of the money is on Golden State. Over 70% of bettors right now are betting on the Warriors. And it's this weird thing where everything in my head, I'm like, Boston's better, but the whole world seems to disagree with me
here. Man, it's definitely interesting. You hit a couple points I'm a respond to. I believed in this Boston team probably after the sweep in Brooklyn. Obviously, Brooklyn wasn't at full health, full strength. But I don't know if people understand how difficult it is to sweep a team. Like to sweep a team, that takes you're locked in. You're locked in from the bulk of those quarters. You know what I'm saying? Like you're lasered in, and KD and Kyrie, that's no easy feat.
Let alone Kevin Durant team. We saw Kevin Durant go toe to toe with Giannis last year. For many games.
Absolutely. So like at that point, I was bought in, regardless, what was going to happen with the Milwaukee series. Like, I'm like, okay, this team is for real. You know what I'm saying? Like they showed a level of just, I would say, focus. Now,
ceiling,
exactly. It glimpsed. And then also in Milwaukee, yeah, granted, should it have gone 7? Probably, looking back on it, because I believe the best player in the world is Giannis. So even without his second best player, there's no shame in going 7 with Giannis. You get a virtuoso performance from Jason Tatum, basically just putting a 44 and 20 effort by Giannis by one-upping him and dropping 46 points, like when they had to have it. So Jason Tatum showed me, wow, like on his biggest stage facing elimination, no, I got this. So that was dope. The Miami one, I'll be honest with you, Scott, health might have played a factor. I don't know if their focus wasn't there. They had dudes in and out of the lineup. So I think that continuity that we've been alluding to might have got screwed with a little bit. but they did not. That was not their finest series that they just got out of. I will say that.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I've spoken
Yeah.
glowingly about this Boston team,
Yeah.
on this platform, for months now. But at the same time, like watching Game 6, watching Game 7 against Miami, I have my questions. Coming down the stretch, their half court offense like gets stagnant, and sometimes they look like that 2019 Boston team that was, just your turn, my turn type deal. Not with the Ime version that we've seen. Marcus Smart taking over at the point guard position, and proving that he can, actually like run a team and run an offense. So like just there's no excuse, man, for that last series. Game 6, you got to take that. You're going back home. You're up 3-2. The Heat are beat up. You have them by the throat. You got to stomp on them. And I know Jimmy Butler was incredible, and he was, a shot away from winning in Game 7. But like that, I speak as glowing them about as any team, in the NBA. But I have my questions, and I don't want to sound dismissive of Golden State, because Golden State has a lot of things going for them where I can say, hey, at the end of the series, I think Boston's going to win it, but there are narratives and there are storylines and pieces in play here where I could 100% Golden State coming out on top. One, Boston's young. Guys in the NBA traditionally win about like 26, 27 years old. Giannis was ahead of schedule for sure, but most of these guys don't. It takes, multiple years to get there. So they're still ahead of schedule, and some teams are, but it's just rare. They're beat up. They've been going through these grueling series that we were just talking about. They had 14 games in 28 days, and I know they got a couple days of rest here, but still, like, what Marcus Smart's physical condition, like, what about Robert Williams? Robert Williams Game 7 did not look, the moment looked a little big for him, and also like he just didn't look super healthy. They haven't faced an offense quite like Golden State, or a team that has, they faced, I can't say that they faced some teams, but still, like, Golden State's another, just a beast for them. And I could see just the offense being too much. They do play defense in Golden State. People, we talk about the offense, Curry, Poole, Thompson, when he's going right. By the way, Thompson Game 5 hit one-legged jumpers. Like, that showed something. Like, hey, there's still a lot of clay left here. And if their guys get rolling, man, I could see Boston going down quick.
I'm gonna say this. I think I'm gonna pick up what you were putting. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down as far as like them not facing a team like this, at least not offensively. You look at Brooklyn and what they represented. Ime was like, you know what, we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at KD and go from there, because at the end of the day, Kyrie's not a true point. We'll see what happens. Like, they got a bunch of bums out there besides those two. You go into the Milwaukee series, and it was basically Giannis or bust. You go into this Miami series, it was basically Jimmy Butler or bust. That's not this Golden State team. You got dudes that could go and get 30. There's about 4 dudes that are alive for 30. That's a completely different snake that you got a game plan for defensively. So they haven't. They have not faced a machine like the Golden State Warriors. They're so unselfish, and everyone's such a live ball threat. And the IQ that they have, Golden State is just way too deep. And it looks like, I saw this morning, Shams Charania tweeted out a report. They will have Gary Payton Jr. He will be dressed for tonight. So depending if Kerr wants to throw him in there, but he is going to be available for Game 1, which is a remarkable comeback after that nasty injury, that elbow injury he had in the Memphis series. So that's another body that Golden State just got back. And I'm like, man, like, we about to see how good this defense is. All I gotta say is we about to really find out what this Boston defense is made out of, because the last 2 series they've had was Giannis or bust and Jimmy Butler or bust. They were not going against complete teams, with all due respect. They're good teams, but they were not a complete team. The Golden State Warriors are a complete team on both ends of the floor. So we about to find out what this Boston D is really made out of. And like you said, real quick, man, Robert Williams, you said Mom looked a little too big. Potentially, but he just looks like he don't have his legs under him, maybe with the rotation.
He looked tentative to me.
He looked tentative, absolutely. And he looked like he had one leg.
Yeah,
he didn't look like he had the confidence in his, and like, where's the lobs at? Like, when Robert Williams was Robert Williams in late January and early February, they were throwing that ball up at the rim. and it was like, go get it. Like I saw what he did to Anthony Davis and Staples. Oh my goodness. Like he was just elevating. I don't see the aerial threat anymore. I will give a shout out his closeouts on 3-point shooters. Look, you ain't blocking nobody's shot in Golden State because everybody can jump over my cell phone. PJ Tucker is shooting with his feet on the ground. I think those blocks were a little overrated. He's not jumping on a jump shot.
Well, yeah, but there's nobody in the league with a trigger like Curry and Thompson either. Their shot is so quick.
Cool. You're not blocking that from the corner. You're not covering distance like that. So, and also real quick, the tentativeness that I saw in the shooters that Miami had, or quote unquote shooters, you will not have that problem in Golden State. These dudes will keep shooting the ball. I saw Strus get tentative. I saw Oladipo get tentative. I saw a bunch of dudes look like they were trigger shy because of Boston's defense. Boston's defense is not going to deter Golden State from doing what they want to do. They can influence the percentages, but they're going to get their shots up. So that's just something to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, for the Warriors too, you alluded to it. I think we've seen consistently through every round of these playoffs, you're going to get a game or two where Tatum is a dud. And if he's a dud offensively, like it's just going to be a lot, because I feel like both teams should be able to score on each other. I think the Celtics have the size, and there's matchups that they could really target on Golden State. And Golden State's a really good defensive team. Obviously, you've got Draymond Green going to be as locked in as you can, defend the back end. And Looney, we saw, can hold his own against any lineup, could be a real big X factor in this in the series, actually, because something that I didn't expect to see from Golden State, and I think we saw it against Dallas, and it could be the size, but their offensive rebounding was really great. Kevin Looney became live. Golden State, man. They got pieces all around for sure, and they know that system like the back of their hand. I think Curry is an anomaly. I think if he is hitting shots, it's hard to stop. It's like an avalanche. I do think Boston has the pieces to, hold it together and keep it close. But there's a lot going for you if you're Golden State, for sure.
If you're Boston, you are going to need a third scorer. Al Horford, by the way, has been legendary. I don't know if Boston could have asked for much more of what they've gotten from this man. I think I was talking to you off air, and I was saying I was looking at Bam's numbers. I was looking at Al Horford. I was like, Al Horford's having a better playoffs.
That's what happens when you go to OKC and they give you the year off.
I was like, this
you get a whole year to find that fountain of youth, man.
God, Al Horford has been balling. I'm like, they gonna need that. Al Horford, to me, is the X factor in this series for Boston. They're not winning this finals without Al Horford playing like Al Horford of what we've seen in this postseason. They're not winning. It's just that simple. Tatum can go off. Brown can go off. They're gonna need to go 3 deep. The order can change, because what we do know is, like you just said, Tatum is gonna give you 2 bad games. He's gonna give you 2 bad and 1 subpar. But hopefully the 1 subpar is the one that Jaylen Brown goes off for like 40, because he's also live to go get you 50. Jaylen Brown is an incredibly live threat. But they're gonna need another dude to consistently step up. Marcus Smart, man, if he's not worried about getting Finals MVP, I like his role. But it was interesting, because we alluded to this a week ago. I was saying, like, are these like MVP awards going to get weird, like in the conference final? Tell me if I'm wrong, Scott. But in Game 7, the last 5 minutes of that game, Marcus Smart looked like he was trying to win Finals MVP. I mean, Conference Finals MVP. He did not play like the Marcus Smart that I have seen throughout this postseason. He single-handedly almost let Miami win that game.
It was a lot of spot-up jumpers, though, and I think a lot of it was Miami was selling out on Tatum, and Marcus had good looks, and he just didn't make them, for a lot of them at least. And I because I've said a lot of bad things about Marcus Smart and his mentality. You know what I mean? Like negative things about how sometimes, like, dude, like, you cannot be taking the most shots on this team. Like, you need to, if you're gonna be the point guard, I don't want to see you with 21 field goal attempts and all that stuff. But he's been such a change player for the most part, and like defensively, just what he's meant to this team, offensively, what he's meant to this team down the stretch. Like, I almost want to push back a little bit, not push back, but pull back the gas, like, a little bit. Like, yeah, we don't want to see those moments from you, Marcus, but he's for the most part, been good about it. So I just want to pull
He's
back a little
been
bit.
good, but I've also know he got a bag of tricks, and a 3 on some of those were hero ball. You can pull in. He's got a floater, and he can put pressure on the defense. Like some of those wasn't like a shot clock situation. You could have put the ball. He's got a bag of tricks. That's all I'm saying. To keep jacking up a 3 in a game 7 like that when you still have time on the clock as a point guard, to me seems a little hero ballish. That's all I'm saying. So as long as he keeps the main thing, as it looks like he has for the majority of the postseason, I expect him to have a huge impact on this series for Boston.
For Boston, we know their rotation. We know who they're going to play. They're going to play Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Williams, Derek White, maybe some spot minutes for Pritchard against Golden State.
Potentially.
They're probably going to need some Daniel Tice, maybe a little bit. You know what I mean? It's depending on what Robert Williams is looking like. What Golden State, it's interesting because I feel like they're going to need Kuminga. They're going to need to play Moody.
Oh, Kuminga's playing.
I almost feel like they're going to have to play Bielitsa as well, just to have a big body out there against that Celtics front court. You know what I mean? So I don't know what their rotation looks like exactly.
And guess what? You know who also doesn't know? Boston.
Yeah.
The flexibility, because Moody, this man has been balling. The minutes that he got, my goodness, the poise that he showed in that Dallas series, they could count on him to go in. And he was instant offense, but not just instant offense. His reads, just the poise that he shows, they're just so deep. It's insane. What I'm looking forward to is Draymond. How is this series going to be officiated? What like, is it going to be physical? Are we going to see an ejection? Are we going to see a suspension? Draymond, you got some goons out there. You got Draymond, you got Smart. You got 2 former defensive player of the years out there. They're going to give it all they got 24/7, 365. It's going to be really interesting to see the impact that Draymond and Marcus Smart physically will have on this series. And maybe, man, I'm excited. Oh, man, I thought I'm about to watch a heavyweight bout. I'm just incredibly excited for this. I love the style. Styles make fights. And this is stylistically, I'm excited.
Yeah, 2 contrasting teams. And I think both teams you could convince me of either team, to be honest. I'm a roll with Boston. I think the length, I think they've been the best team all year. And I think they're going to prove it in the end here. But I don't know, who you going with?
I'm gonna go Golden State. You mentioned it a little earlier. I just think in a half court set, Boston's half court offense has been dog shit the entire playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen when the game slows down, and I hear Ime, wired up on the sideline. He's saying, pick up the pace, pick up the pace. It's no secret. They know they're at their best. And I'm be honest with you, when they're pushing it, Marcus Smart can kind of go off of instincts. I feel like sometimes he overthinks just a little bit. Just like Tatum, I'm not really a big fan of Tatum's half court game either. The synergy that Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum have in a half court offense, I'm not the biggest fan of. You look at the synergy that Steph, Clay, and Draymond have in a half court set, I believe that's why I'm taking them to win this finals.
So to you, the biggest storyline for Boston is going to be their half court offense and lack of ability to score down the stretch against Golden State, pretty much.
Absolutely. I think they're going to be vulnerable. They're going to be on the ropes in some of these quarters, and you're going to have to Tatum or Brown. Somebody's going to have to step up and stop the bleeding to maybe keep it to a 12-point deficit rather than an 18, 21-point deficit, because it's just the synergy between those 3, Smart, Brown, and Tatum, in a half-court set over Thompson, Curry, and Draymond. Stop it.
Getting Gary Payton's big for them. I think what I'm looking at is both these teams turn the ball over. I like Boston's ability, or I could bank on Boston converting and like retaining those turnovers more than I think I can for Golden State, just because of the defenders on both sides. Golden State plays good team defense, but there's guys that besides Gary Payton, I'm not too scared about Boston's like dribbling against them. You know what I mean? Where Golden State is just read and react. And I think Boston's defense is going to allow themselves to capitalize on those turnovers. And I think that should be the difference in the series.
Oh, I'm gonna be terrified. If I'm Jaylen Brown, if I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm incredibly confident. But looking at Jaylen Brown, I believe the Warriors are going to eat him alive in several moments of the series with that handle. Oh my goodness. I know Draymond is frothing out of the mouth to see Brown. I know. They've got a book down this man's his drop step in the mid range. It's a nice step, but it's like the only go-to move he's got. And it works on smaller defenders. But I'm looking at them, and Steph is no longer a liability defensively. Like, he's so much a part of their scheme now, and he's so much a better defender than he used to be. It's gonna get tight in that half court, man, for Jaylen Brown with that handle. Like I said, you gotta turn Golden State over, and you just gotta keep it pushing. What do you got Boston in 7, you said?
I'm gonna take Boston Celtics at 7.
Who's your finals MVP?
It's gonna go Jason Tatum.
Okay.
I think the Wiggins matchup is interesting. Wiggins was able to, kind of go at Luka offensively. I think the wings, though, that Boston has are just a different animal for Wiggins, and I think Tatum's going to be able to get his as well, going against the smaller Golden State.
I've got Golden State in 6. And I'm going to say Boston in 7. If for any reason this series goes
Did you just pick both teams?
Did that happen? Did that happen?
You just kind of pick both teams.
In a 6-game series, I'm taking Golden State. If this goes to 7, I have zero faith in the Warriors to win Game 7. I have zero faith.
In San Francisco, though. That's going to be huge.
In San Francisco, with that, I you know what, real quick, I can give a little salvo. I've said it all year long. When your best player is taking 35-foot jumpers, that shit's cute over an accumulation of games. But in a 1-game, winner take all, that is just not the offense I would want to rest my laurels on. That's just me. And in the Game 7, you could go 0 of 11 as quickly as you could go 6 of 9. So I would go Boston in a heartbeat in a Game 7. It's just styles. It's just styles at that point.
Yeah. It's going to come down to some big shots. This is going to be a fun series, man. I'm really excited. Let's go and take a break here, and then when we come back, we can talk about some hires.
Nice.
All right, cool. We're back. The Lakers recently hired a coach. They have a head coach for LeBron. They have a head coach for, underneath Phil Jackson and Kurt Rambis now. They bring in assistant coach from Milwaukee, Darvin Ham. Yeah, how you feeling, man? How you feeling about the hire?
Man, I told you when the news broke, I was on Twitter. I saw LeBron with a bunch of emojis. He was like, D Ham. He's got a nickname for him already. He's like ready to work. I'm like, look, if my star player's happy for the coach, I'm happy. That's how I look at it. That's whose opinion matters most about the coach. So from my perspective, man, I love the hire. I love some of the details that came out. I think I'm gonna let you get to that with the details that came out about it. But I like it, man. Like, yeah, I like a new coach, fresh voice. I think it's a very forward move when you see some of the up and coming coaches. You got Willie Green doing good things in New Orleans. You see the success that Ime Udoka is having. I like it. Chauncey still remains to be seen. We know he's got a situation in flux over there up in Portland, but seeing the new guard, former players come in and have an impact on teams, I'm excited for the future. I think it was a very forward move.
I think out of the candidates, right? Because it sounds like it came down to Terry Stotts, Kenny Atkinson, Darvin Ham, and then they were holding on hope for Doc Rivers and possibly Quinn Snyder. I don't know what happened exactly with that because I saw a report even yesterday that Quinn Snyder still is in flux about his future with Utah.
No, for real. That's a whole situation.
Darvin Ham coming in from Milwaukee. It's an interesting thing. I want to hear him talk. I want to hear his press conference. I want to kind of see what the thinking here is because this Laker team is in such a flux, right? You have LeBron, you have Davis, you have Russ, you have these pieces to be a win now team. But they just didn't win last year. And when you're in that situation, you need some kind of direction. I think that's what I'm looking for this Lakers organization. Now, hiring Darvin Ham as an arrowhead of that direction is going to be really interesting to hear him speak. I like the hiring. I would have been, if they brought in Terry Stotts or something like that, I would have been, there's no hope for this organization. I think bringing in a Darvin Ham could be future looking, like you're saying, forward thinking. Bringing in a new voice, somebody to, be a leader of this organization, and really, somebody that's LeBron James going to respect. That because if you get buy-in from LeBron, you're all good. We didn't see you mentioned the tweets.
Yeah,
we never saw a tweet about Frank Vogel.
I didn't see a tweet about Frank Vogel. He wasn't at the press conference. I don't remember seeing a vote. And that was a coach that LeBron had gone against in playoff battles. Let that sink in. Vogel took him to 7 when he had Paul George in Indiana. Like Miami LeBron, he had nothing to say. So I mean,
it was the Roy Hibbert years.
The Roy, we're not gonna talk about Barney, but no, man, like you said, the buy-in from a team's best player definitely will trickle down and set a tone. I'm also excited to hear his press conference. I don't know anything really about the guy, to be honest with you, what his philosophies are going to be. I'm assuming he's a defensive-minded coach. That's just an assumption, but that remains yet to be seen. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because the Russ piece is just a wrench in everything. And like, it seems like the Lakers and him are just going to have a staring contest, I think, into the season. And so this position's important because you're gonna have to, keep the ship going amidst, controversy, amidst, disgruntled fans after last year. I don't know what the expectations are for this team. Obviously we need to see what the team looks like, I guess, and there's a lot to happen here. But I'm happy for the guy because I know he's had a couple of bites of the apple before, right? And he just kept getting turned down for interviewing with different teams. So, again, perseverance, man. And he's a fucking Lakers, dude. You got to take that job.
You got to take the job, but you don't have to take that job because of the things that you alluded to with it's a circus. And from the reporting, it was made clear, apparently Kurt Rambis will not have access. I actually saw the report. He won't have access to Darvin Ham as far as his coaching meetings go. He's off limits. The 4-year deal, Vogel originally, I believe, had a 2 or a 3-year deal. It looks like some concessions were made by Jeannie Buss and the Lakers brass because it appears to me that coaches was turning this job down. Remember, they offered this job to a Monty Williams before he took the Phoenix job. LeBron also wanted Monty Williams. Monty had some things. He wanted to pick his own coaching staff. He wanted more security. They said no. He said, well, I'm not going to coach you. Tyronn Lue got lowballed. He was offended that he couldn't pick his staff and the money and the years. He said no. Dudes were turning down this job. And it looks like the Lakers brass, it looks like they had to look in the mirror and be like, look, if we're serious about this, we're going to have to make some concessions because we're not being taken serious right now. And them giving him 4 years appears to me they're giving him, we're serious about this. We're going to give you 4, and you will have access to pick whatever coach you want. So that's huge. It remains yet to be seen, but I do believe he will be able to pick his coaching staff. I really do. I don't think he would have taken the job.
Does that scare you? Because the initial intentions by this Lakers brass and how they want to kind of, be under control of everything. What I'm saying is, do you think it could be just like a disingenuous thing? And like Darvin Ham is still going to have to, he's going to get behind the scenes and realize, man, like they're still stubborn. They're still being like, treating me like a puppet.
No. I believe because they can't do anything. He's getting paid. He's on payroll. We've all been on a job. Like, he's the boss. He's going to do it his way because if he gets fired or whatever, what is he going to tell Jeannie? Well, I tried Phil's way. Like, how you going to? No, he's going to go down swinging, doing it his own way. And that's the only way he can get anything done. So they can give suggestions, but I think Darvin going to be a real one. And I think he'll ignore them. I believe he knows the only way he can go down with this is knowing even if he fails, He has to fail his way. And I think that's why, at least on paper and on Front Street, they've made those concessions.
I think it comes down to LeBron, right? And LeBron's going to empower him to be able to do all that stuff, because the Phil Jackson thing scares me. You brought him up, but we saw what that looks like in New York. You know, he brought in his guy Derek Fisher, he brought in his guy Rambis, Hornacek, and they made them play the triangle. Jeff Hornacek, when he was coaching the Suns, I remember they were an up and down team. You know, spread it out, and then he goes to New York and they got him running the triangle, and I'm like, what are we doing here? So like, the fact that they have LeBron in his corner is gonna help big time.
I think that's a great point you made, because that'll definitely give a first-year head coach a different level of swagger, knowing that dude is out here vocal about, he's excited about his coach. Like bro, like he said, man, that's a vote of confidence. And hopefully them making these concessions and whatnot, do you think it has anything to do with seeing Boston in the finals? And that ego got hit, and they're like, damn, okay, you know what? We might need to turn. Genie been around a long time. Rambis been around a long time. To see Boston in the finals, I'm going to tell you right now, Boston winning the championship might benefit the Lakers in the long run. We got to wake up. We got to wake up right now. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they've had to make these concessions they originally wasn't willing to make coming off of that championship 22 months ago, to see Boston right now in a prime situation to be back on top. I think egos had to get checked, and I think they're like, let's get serious. Quick question for you, though. How serious can this Laker team be if they refuse to get rid of Russell Westbrook and give Darvin Ham an actual shot? Are they giving Ham an actual shot as long as Westbrook is on this roster? Are they giving him a fair shot?
No, but it may be. Actually, that's what my point originally is, and when I said the direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what the Lakers' plans are.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a plan to do everything possible to win with LeBron James, or is this a plan, hey, like, LeBron, you're going to sell us tickets, and then like, but we're going to be heading towards the future. We're already thinking about life after you type deal. And that's what I want to know. Like, what's the plan with Darvin? Is it, hey, you're here to just, you know, navigate through these times, or are you part of the long term? Are you going to come in and be about player development, and like these draft picks that we don't want to give up for us? We'd rather just get them off the books because we want that pick and stuff like that. Well, all right, Darvin, then we need you to come in, and we need you to be, hey, we're about player development. We're about this, that, you know what I mean, getting better for the future. Or is it, man, you're here to win basketball games? And if they're here to win basketball games, Russ Westbrook needs to be off of this roster immediately.
Okay. We see this the same. I don't believe you're giving him an actual shot if come October we open training camp and Westbrook's on this. You're not serious about Darvin Ham. You're not serious about him because you're basically punting on his first season as a coach. There's no coach out there that can make this work.
No.
Ham would basically be another guinea pig at that point. So I said, we'll find out how serious they are with Darvin Ham, because if you got to give up a pick, look, fuck it. At this point, you win. If you believe you got your guy and you got LeBron James, you got to make sure you put Darvin Ham in a position. First of all, don't you want to know what you have in Darvin Ham? Because you're not going to really know what you have in Darvin Ham if you have Russell Westbrook on this roster, because he's a trash offensive player, with all due respect, on the winningest of levels. He can give you numbers, but
he's
it doesn't
a trash
translate
defensive player too.
And he's a trash defensive player. So if you're serious about Darvin Ham and you want to know what you have as a coach, you're not going to know what you have if Westbrook is on this roster. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out. I don't fuck it. At this point, if you got to get a pick, you got to buy him out. You got to whatever it is, we are starting over here, and he can't be a part of this journey. I don't care what they do. Darvin Ham needs a fair shot.
Yeah. He needs a fair shot, and they need to get rid of Russ somehow, some way. If it's the pick, then like, I don't know, man. If I'm the Lakers, it's weird. It's a weird thing. Because I feel like you kind of have to go in all in with LeBron, because if you're just literally punting and like using him to sell tickets and stuff like that, and you keep Westbrook on this team, I don't know how you have credibility going forward. You know what I mean?
This is huge. He just put up 38 and 6.
Yeah.
And you're not shooting 52% from the field. You can't be wasting this. You're
the Lakers. Like, you're the Lakers. You're here to win titles, aren't you? If not, then like, what are we doing? Like,
what are we doing here? What are we really doing? Like, you got to make it happen. At this point, I don't think it'll come to this, but I'm being dead serious. If you got to buy this man out, you buy this man out. Are we serious or are we not? I'm sorry. Is this a money thing? It seems to me, I need to just know that money is not the forefront for the Lakers class.
It's totally a money thing.
My God.
I would buy him out, because I've told you, I don't think the value you're going to get from him is going to benefit your team. Like, it's going to be tough.
Let's walk the people at home through this. A buyout, what does that mean on the books? Because I don't believe Westbrook, but I don't believe Westbrook is going to take any less than the 47 million. I don't think there's a number they can reach. He's gonna want all 47 million. I don't believe he's leaving any money on the table.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? Hey, I always say, if you're Pelinka, if you're Genie, you lay in the bed you make, and you should never make the trade from the beginning. I've been saying it, like, you have no outs that you're gonna like. There's no situation you bring him in and it doesn't work that you're gonna be able to get out of this like clean hands. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, so you know what? There are consequences for every action, and that's the action they chose. So there are consequences to this.
I'm with it. I back you 100%. I'm with it. Basically what we're saying at home, everybody, is he can't be on this roster come hella high water. Like, I don't care what they do, he just can't be here.
Yeah. The other hiring I wanted to touch on real quick is the Timberwolves bringing in Tim Connelly from the Denver Nuggets. Denver once again showing they do not pay executives. They let go of Masai. They let go of Tim Connelly. They're like, we got this. We don't even have a TV deal. What the fuck do you think we need a GM for?
The TV deal that might have been a little too soon.
If you're a Timberwolves fan, though, you have new ownership coming in. The team isn't officially sold, so it's this weird situation where the old ownership is still kind of has a say, and then like the new owners, A-Rod and his group, kind of have their say too, because they're going to get it eventually. So it's this weird thing. So they bring in this guy to kind of like probably delegate, right? So, hey, we're going to bring in somebody to steer the ship. They give him top dollar for executiveship. They give him part-time, they give him stakes into the team. I don't know what you're going to do though. Like, is he that good? Is he worth that? Is he Sam Presti where we're giving away ownership?
Hey, you're worth whatever somebody will pay you, Scott. That's always what I've said. So apparently to them, he's worth it. Excuse me. But nah, I wouldn't have done it. But yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. These owners have to be pissed. You're giving away ownership to these guys now. Like, you got to be pissed, right? Because this is the guy that traded for Aaron Gordon. And I get it. He drafted Nikola Jokic in the second round. Probably, maybe one of the greatest draft picks ever as far as value-wise go. But you traded for Aaron Gordon, bro. Like, I don't know.
Aaron Gordon was one of the worst. He looked like in that Warriors series that he had a Golden State jersey on.
Not only that, but you gave Michael Porter Jr. a contract. Like,
we didn't even talk about that. He did not show he was worth that contract. Let's be 1,000% honest. He did not show he was worth that contract.
Yeah, I got my questions if you're Timberwolves. I do like the aggressiveness. From what I heard, they went after a lot of people, so he wasn't their first choice. So it kind of smells of a little desperation here if you're the Timberwolves. With that being said, if I'm Tim Connelly, though, I'm very happy because I'm going to a situation, right?
You're ecstatic.
Oh my gosh, you got life-changing money for one. But not only that, but even the team, I have Anthony Edwards, and I believe in that guy. I believe he has the mindset to do things in this league at the highest of levels. I got some pieces I could probably move. I'm moving Cat. I'm moving D'Angelo, and I'm building around Edwards. I'm going all in there. I don't know. Is it? And in Denver, like we said, you gave Michael Porter Jr. a contract. You kind of gave away your pieces for Gordon. I don't know what the ceiling is there. Anyways,
you were bidding against yourself with Porter. I'm sorry, because I don't believe any other team would have thrown him that boatload of cash with his back injury and the resume that he had for it. I feel like they really could have. I don't think they. No.
Yeah. So the history isn't on his side, but he gets another shot here. It's not a bad situation. We'll see what happens from it. If I'm the Lakers, we were just talking about Lakers. I'm taking this deal and I'm bringing it to Presti, though. Let me tell you.
Presti.
Sorry, Rob.
No, I'm gonna have to speed past Rob real quick. I'm gonna go get Presti. Oh my goodness, Presti in LA. How would that work?
It would be great, man. I would love it. You know, just
honestly, man. I don't know. I need somebody to come by the Lakers. With all due respect, I need someone that's willing to spend, because a GM is half the problem. But if you're not empowered by dude like Sam Presti, couldn't even keep James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant together because ownership didn't want to spend $5 million. You said, what'd you say?
I said that is a blemish for sure.
That's a blemish, but that's not Presti's problem. That's ownership.
Could have got a little more in that trade.
You could have got. Oh, you said he should have got more in the trade.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't matter.
That's an all-time bad trade.
But you were. But hold on. With revisionist history, it's because what Harden turned into. But he was a six-man of the year. He wasn't nothing. He wasn't, bro. None of us knew what he was gonna be. I'm gonna throw Presti a little bit of bail there. We didn't know what he was really gonna turn up like to be, but he probably could have got a little more.
It's all good. No, Presti still, I think, like batting average wise, he's a batting champion. All right, so
for sure, he's got a title, but we need an owner. If she's willing to bust it open, you know, and
don't you think if she gives that deal, that kind of she's proven herself though?
No. Someone could say, don't you think going to go get LeBron means you'll be in a luxury tax every single year? So I don't want to hear you complain about it. Like, she's still acting brand new. Like, we were in the luxury tax and like we had the fourth highest. And like, I don't care. I don't care. You have LeBron James. Go ask Dan Gilbert what their financial status was looking like when they had Bron. Go ask Pat Riley what their financial status looked like when they had Bron. You know you're gonna be in the luxury tax.
Yeah.
So like, nah, bro. If we get Presti, we need someone that can take advantage of Presti. I need somebody bro, I'm jealous. I'm envious, bro. I look at Steve Ballmer. This dude is throwing racks. This dude ain't even playing.
He paid Rocco.
You said what?
So he paid Rocco.
He paid Rocco. Bro, there's a reason why there's a short.
Nobody pays Rocco.
Why Rocco he get hit with a stray like that? I can make an argument. Everybody paying Rocco. Everybody don't pay that man's
bill. Even pass it around for sure.
You don't been pass. Everybody wants a piece of Rocco. Steve Ballmer was finally like, nah, I'm not gonna share him no more with y'all. I'm gonna keep him. There's a reason why there's a shortage of 3-and-D wings. Everybody, they're on the Clippers roster. Like, they got how do they still have Norman Powell? Can somebody please tell? That's how I knew the Portland Trailblazers were going to sell. I knew
the Norman Powell one's crazy because I thought for sure that was like, hey, we're going to get him in here for a year, like it'll be a little rental.
Butt buddies with the
we get our guys back.
He's butt buddies with ownership in Portland, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you guys this. Everybody was making fun of us because we was like flaunting Kendrick Nunn and Taylor Horton Tucker. My favorite gone for Norman Powell.
My favorite Laker one was all the people like, just wait till Trevor Ariza comes back. I'm like, okay, that's gonna fix our problems. Like,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Trevor Ariza could have been on that Clippers roster. He would have got flipped for Norman Powell. People just don't like us, bro. Taylor Horn-Tucker and Kendrick Nunn is more value than what Portland got back for Norman Powell. That's a fact. It just shows that at the end of the day, people, no matter what level you're at, relationships matter in life. Because Ballmer, being the Clippers owner, is friends with the Portland owner, as of right now. And you clearly saw that with that deal. And I'm like, wow, really? I'm like, I should not be envious of the Clippers in any way, shape, or fashion. But he is committed to winning. He's like, whatever the amount is, I'm going to pay it. He's had 2 stars not play the requisite amount of games, and he's not losing sleep. I'm sure it's bothering him a little bit, but this is what it takes to be competitive in a market that's been dominated by the other LA team, being the Lakers. He knows what it's going to take. If I'm going to make a legacy here, he should have went to New York, because that city's up for grabs. He should have went to, the Knicks will never sell. Dolan will never sell.
I'd rather be in LA.
Same. The fan base matters for sure. You're absolutely right. But man, we need new ownership, man. I'm waiting for that to come out where she just gets an offer that she can't refuse, because whatever the Lakers are valued at right now, if they went on sale, just add another $2 billion to it.
I don't
just
think she
add another $2 billion. You said what?
I don't know if she'll ever sell it. I think the dad piece of it, I see him being a guy like, don't ever sell this, like, because he's a real estate guy, and real estate guys are like, this could be in our family forever. Like,
I'm gonna tell you this right now, bullying works, and I don't think it was an accident that Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis was getting dragged like that. That they had all that autonomy over Frank Vogel. And all of a sudden, they made it very public that he wouldn't be allowed. All I'm saying is, bro, the media and the public, we definitely bullied them into getting Kurt Rambis out of that coaching room, because they were running amok. And when that news broke, I told you, Stephen A. ripped Linda Rambis a new asshole.
What a crazy market, dude. The fall from grace that Frank Vogel had. He won a title 2 years ago. Like, and now he doesn't have a job. He just doesn't have a job anymore. Like, that happened quick.
That happened really quick. I thought he was good. So this is what I think is happening, because they got real quiet in Charlotte. It got real quiet on their coaching search, because they're looking for a coach right now. They were in
I've heard Kenny Atkinson for them.
You heard he's gonna get it?
He's like the favorite.
It's gone dark for me, man. It's gone really dark. I'm like, it was in the news a lot, and then they still haven't announced it. So that had me thinking, what's going on with this Russ situation? Something's going on behind closed doors, because I do think Jordan would go get Russ. I really do. But he can't go get Russ if Vogel's going to be his coach, because there was interest apparently that Jordan wanted Frank Vogel, and he was also interviewed for the job, and it went well. And then all of a sudden, it went 0 dark 30, and I haven't seen any report of their coaching search.
I think I just saw yesterday that they could be closing in on
Kenny Atkinson. Scott just comes in with the breaking news, everybody. Scott's here to save the day, everybody.
If I was them, like, why not bring in Vogel though? Like, I don't know. Whatever. That'd be funny, actually. No, that's probably what it is. It might be the Russ thing, because if you bring in Russ, you can't bring in Frank.
No, and if you're Jordan, I know why I would go get Russ, because I'm trying to get off this Gordon Hayward contract for 1 year. Shit, I'll do it. If there's any way he could get rid of Gordon Hayward, Frank Vogel, I'm sorry, I can't hire you this year. I gotta get off this contract, because whatever we want to say, that Gordon Hayward contract is an atrocity.
Couldn't that stunt the LaMelo growth bringing in Russ?
You're big on stunting. You're big on stunting. I'm wild. You're big on that. I think him going into, what is this? This is year 3 now he's going to go into.
Yeah. You think he is what he is?
he don't play a lot of ball. He don't play with a lot of dudes, bro. He been pro since 16.
I
So
promise he ain't never played with somebody like this.
I
Maybe at
promise you,
24.
guess what? He speaks English. He speaks English. This dude don't play with dudes that he didn't even understand their language, bro. Look, I'm gonna tell you this: if there's anyone that's built for it, it's LaMelo, bro. This brother went over to Lithuania, bro, as a 16-year-old. I'm gonna give him a lot more credit as his maturation process goes forth. What he needs to do is just put better effort in defensively. But as far as another player for a season stunting his growth, I just can't see it, man. His route to get to the league is so impressive, and what he had to go through and how he was alienated in these foreign countries. Like, he really could have gave up on the game. He could have gave up on the game. He wasn't catered to overseas. People didn't know who he was. Like, he's different, man. I think he loves the game too much. I don't think it's going to stunt his development whatsoever. I think it could, though. I think it's a fair concern that you have if this was someone else, but I think LaMelo built a little different.
Fair enough. If I'm Charlotte, I said Frank Vogel. I think the right hire for them is probably D'Antoni.
Ooh, that's spicy.
I think that's the right hire for
That's
them.
a sexy pick. I'm not gonna lie.
Even if you bring in
D'Antoni
Russ
with LaMelo,
yeah, and Bridges, yeah, I think that's the right pick for them.
With Tsunami Poppy,
yeah,
with Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, I think that would be the right pick for them. We'll see what happens.
I like.
All right, man. Anything else you want to go before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Just I'm excited for this finals. And I'm glad we got this matchup. Like I said, I think both teams are incredibly deserving, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. See you guys.
All right.